Hey Wildcat fans, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Public Coin, bringing you another video about Arizona women's basketball. Ben's friends AZ, thanks for being here. So today's video is going to be relatively short, topically about transfers. Exciting, right? We're not actually going to talk about the transfers coming in. This video is a lot more about the transfers leaving, just kind of where they went, where they're going, to give you guys an idea of what happened with our outgoing portal transfers here at the end of the year. Let's see what we've got. First of all, the transfer portal affects everybody. It's not just us, and we've seen some pretty talented kids leave some really big name schools. So there is that. So this is the world we live in, and this is what we're going to be dealing with for the time being. Of course, you had Montea do medically retire, and then you had two players leave before the season started: Miracle Akpatoyobo and Freddie Wallace, neither of whom played for us. So those three players, but not going to talk about them. I do have some information for you about Danielle Welch, Blessings Adebanjo, Denia Trammell, Chol Magat, Cameron Kitchen, and MJ Maria Gerardo. So very, very interesting to see kind of where these kids went and a little bit of why they went certain places, right? So as fans, we can tend to look at people like, oh, we value them based on whether or not they can compete at a Division I level and what they're going to bring to the team. There's a lot of selfishness on our part as fans when it comes to that. I think for a lot of these kids, I just think about, well, if I was in their shoes, what would I do? And they all have different skill sets. And I mean, I would want to play. So for me, when I look at some of the kids, we've got, I think we got 3 kids going to SEC schools, right? So Danielle Welch transfers. She's going to be a redshirt senior. She's going to Missouri, where I would think she'll probably get a decent amount of playing time. Her athleticism immediately gets her on the court. There's a lot of skilled basketball players out there in women's basketball. Totally different game than it was 30 years ago. But the athleticism, that is something that really gets you far. And I remember, just watching football 25, 30 years ago, where if you were an athlete, they would just recruit you because they'd be like, dude, guy's a world-class athlete. We're going to have him on the team, even though he doesn't play football. And there's a little bit of that in women's basketball, where if you're really athletic, there's a pretty good chance that you can play some basketball. All right, Blessings, Adebanjo, going to Georgia. Godspeed, Blessings, fan favorite, absolutely. Everyone loved watching her play. And I think that she'll probably have a pretty good impact there at Georgia. I'd expect her to get quite a few minutes in the post. She brought something that is really hard to imitate, and that is going to be both size and athleticism. Praying that her legs hold out. I mean, she had some type of knee problems. They never really talked a whole lot about that, but if you watched her play, you saw anytime she tried to come to a stop from a running motion, she'd almost just fall over. And so she definitely had some knee issues, but still, when she was on the court, she absolutely affected the defense. She was busy blocking a lot of shots, altering a lot of shots, and that is going to be missed. We do not have that coming into 2026. We do have a 6'6" center, but she's a true freshman, and we'll have yet to see if she's going to be anywhere near as aggressive as Blessing was on defense. So off to Georgia. Okay, and the third one who's going to an SEC school, Denia Trammell. This one, what a fascinating case this was. She's going to Arkansas. Trammell had just like an explosive first few weeks on campus, really well playing against the smaller schools. Got up against some of the bigger schools, had some struggles with more advanced players, more experienced players. Really, though, she clearly had a very good, well-rounded game. I mean, it wasn't until closer to the end of the season that we saw her starting to take some 10 and 15-foot jump shots. But I think that part of her game was always there. It's just she's so aggressive in the post. It was so much fun watching her play, and I think that she's going to be one of those good if she stays at Arkansas. She'll be, kind of a double machine. I think that's what she'll turn into. Achol Magat, also a hometown favorite, 6'7", playing very, very limited minutes in Tucson, and she goes to Sacramento State. So this is a good fit for her because at Sacramento State, it feels like she'll get 20 minutes a game, whatever she can handle time-wise, she'll get, and she'll be productive. I thought that she could have been used a whole lot more in Tucson. She altered the other team's defense when she was in. So I realized that she had her turnover troubles, but also, the other team had to adjust also. So it was kind of like, it was just good to have. It's almost like in baseball having a left-handed pitcher come out of the bullpen, or someone who throws a knuckleball, right? You just mix it up and you make it harder for the other team. This is just a philosophical thing. The more types of offensive looks you can give, the harder it is for the other team to be able to adjust to you. All right, last two here. MJ goes to Loyola Chicago, which for some reason became very hard to say right now. So off to Chi-Town. This, she always felt a little bit like a D2 player to me. Once again, not throwing any shade out there, but I think that this is a really good fit for her in general. Just Loyola, probably not a D2 school, by the way. It's probably Division I. It seems like everyone's Division I now. So, but the point is, going to a smaller school feels like she fits better there. I don't think she has the athleticism to play at what Arizona's trying to do, where we're trying to be, where India Barnes brought the program. If you want to maintain the program at that level, then probably you're going to need players that are a little bit more athletic, but also realizing, honestly, the coaching staff threw this team together last year. And so finally, Cam Kitchen. This one's kind of hard for me because I'm a fan. I like, I think that she should have been playing a lot more. And she's going to Coastal Carolina, so she's going home, basically, which is good. She's going to a school where she'll probably play, 35 minutes a game, and lead the conference in 3-point scoring. Fine. A lot of my friends have argued that she wasn't really as athletic enough to play. But I tend to disagree. I think that she had better court vision than almost anybody on the team. She was very good at passing. She was very unselfish, actually. And I think that, she reminds me a little bit of Maddie Connor. And so that was a thing for me too, where I thought Madison Connor should have got more minutes at Arizona, and then ended up not really getting utilized how I would have wanted her utilized. But once again, where Adia Barnes and Becky Burke are similar, is that they're very much so, this is how we do things. If you fit kind of outside of this box of how we do things, you're probably not going to play as much. I'm not going to be able to use you as much. And to me, this is very different than, growing up watching Lute Olson coach, where, with Lute Olson, you went from having, a traditional, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you had a center, you had a forward, 2 guards, and a wing. And then all of a sudden, well, no, now we're going to go with a 3 guard. Oh, we're going to go with 2 bigs. Now we're going to have a 4 guard lineup. And so he was always changing the way that he played and coached basketball. And I think that's a little bit more what you see with Tommy Lloyd, who teaches principles and teaches how the game is played with the players on the court. And it's a little bit different, apples to oranges here, from the men's game to the women's game. But still, I think there's something there about both the way Becky Burke and Adia Barnes coach, which is to say, if you don't fit into what I'm trying to do with this one thing or these 2 things, you're really kind of on the outside. And I felt like Madison Connor got that, unfortunately, when I thought she was very underutilized. It's the same way that I look at Achol Magat and say, could have used her, could use Blessing a lot better too. But like Cam Kitchen, a player that clearly was on the outs with coach over the last couple of games, didn't play a lot, then played like 5 games in a row, started, and then didn't play the last 5 games. So not surprised to see her go, and hopefully she'll do well over at Coastal Carolina. All right, well, as always, you can like, share, subscribe, leave some comments down below, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks.